Hey guys, what's happening? Been a minute since I've done an actual video. I've been uploading some shorts, but just been busy at the restaurant. So we're gonna do some chicken parms today, and I got a couple of tips. I know that like a lot of people have problems with the breadcrumbs actually sticking to the product, especially if they're gonna, save it for leftovers, or if it gets too hot in the pan or in the oven, depending on what you do. So I'm going to give you a tip for that. So what we got here is we have a chicken breast, and we've pounded this out, but here at Patelli we leave them a little thicker because we actually oven bake them. We don't deep fry them. We actually don't even have a fryer. So we pound them out. We just don't pound them out super thin like some places. Of course, if you want to, you can. So I've taken the chicken breast, and when you pound the chicken breast, you always pound it skin side up, and don't beat the crap out of it because it will fall apart on you, okay? So we have chicken, we have the secret weapon, which I'll explain to you in a second, the flour mixture, we have egg wash, and we have homemade seasoned breadcrumbs. Now I actually did a video a while back on homemade seasoned breadcrumbs. You can go back and look at that, and if you have any questions, just post them, I'll answer. And then on the egg wash, depending on what you're gonna bread, in this case it's chicken, this is just eggs, whipped, beaten, and with about a tablespoon of water added to just help kind of make them bind a little bit. That's it, okay? Now, when it comes to the secret weapon, typically you do a product and you do flour, you do egg wash, you do breadcrumbs. Sometimes you double do this part. You'll do flour, egg, and then breadcrumb. If you use the secret weapon, you won't have to do that. And the secret weapon is called Wondra. Okay? So this is kind of a pro tip. We actually make a seasoned mixture with our flour. And here we use 1 pound of flour to 1 cup of Wondra. We also put salt and pepper in here for a little bit of flavor. What that does is it helps the flour, this part of the process, bind to it. And there's a couple other tricks I'll show you that help make that go well for you. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to flour it. Okay? I like to do about 4 times, and I'm actually kind of pushing the flour into the little grooves of the chicken. You don't want any bare spots. So you want to flour one side, shake it off, flip it over, kind of pat it on there, shake it off, flip it over, and do it again. And you want to make sure you get into any crevices of the chicken, okay? So once this thing is fully covered, you're going to take it over here, and you're going to get this in here pretty good and make sure it's nice and wet. And you don't want to move to the next step for a couple things. For one, you want this to sit in the egg for a little bit to get nice and wet and make sure all the flours absorb some of the egg wash, okay? So I'm going to let that sit while I tell you what you're looking for once you flour them. Before you go to the egg, you want these to be floured and sit over here or out for just a few minutes until you can start to see the flour kind of tack up a little bit and dry out, okay? Then you would go to this step, and you let it soak for just a couple minutes. Make sure that all the flour is absorbed, and when you touch any flour spots you see, they don't turn to powder. It's still wet, okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to roll this puppy over here to these breadcrumbs. And in these breadcrumbs, there's a bunch of different sizes. You have real fines, you have some middle size, and you have some chunks. When you first put the chicken breast in your homemade breadcrumbs, you want to make sure that you're grabbing bigger pieces with the first pass. So I always kind of take a shake, bring some of those big pieces to the top, and make sure we get big pieces on it. And then I'll give it a shake and give it a push. Now we have big pieces on both sides. So now what you want to do is make sure that you get all sizes. The reason for that is if your breadcrumbs are too finely ground and you put them in there, it instantly covers the whole chicken, and you can't get any more to absorb and give you the body or the height that you need on the breadcrumb layer, okay? So this is kind of like the flour. You want to make sure you flip it over 3 or 4 times, give it a nice little push, shake it out, flip it over, do it again, And what I'm doing when I shake it out is I'm exposing any wet spots, and then I'm refilling it in with all sizes of the breadcrumbs, okay? Now, once you get to this spot, you're ready to go in either the fryer or pan with oil. Like I said, here we bake them. We don't have a fryer. Well, hell, we don't even have a microwave. So that's pretty much the process. Now, we bake those at 425 for anywhere from 12 to 14 minutes, flipping them halfway through at about, we do 7 minutes on one side and 4 on another, but we have commercial ovens. So you might need to, look at that. But it's going to be about a 12 to 14 minute cook time. Now, the benefit of the Wondra, the pro tip, is I took the liberty of making one of these earlier and cooling it down. So this was made, cooled, and it has the breadcrumbs on it. Now, if you've ever made this without Wondra in your flour, you would not be able to handle this or move it without the breadcrumbs coming off. You always have to kind of be delicate. As you can see, with the Wondra, it just doesn't come off. It stays attached to the product. And for us, that's a blessing, obviously, for execution on the line. So that's pretty much it, man. Just make sure you use a little Wondra. Like I said, we do 1 pound to 1 cup. You can always cut that in half because you're probably gonna do a lot less than we would. Only use egg and water, and when I say water, just a tad. And then remember the tips I gave you guys on the different sizes of the breadcrumbs when you're breading these through. And yeah, that's it, man. I look forward to doing some more videos, and we'll talk at you soon. Please subscribe and like, all right? Thanks.